If one of these lands on you, the standard human reaction is to assume you're having a magical Disney moment, all kittens and lollipops. But the reality is, the ladybug is a merciless predator, and they treat the world like a buffet, locating soft-bodied pests using chemistry, then vacuuming them with mouth parts built for the job. Cute costume, serious equipment. The ladybug's reaction, on the other hand, is that it's so terrified it intentionally explodes its own joints and leaks toxic fluid onto your skin until you go away. You aren't Snow White. You're a threat assessment that just triggered a panic bleed. Happy now? Culturally, the ladybug is the absolute master of public relations. We print them on baby clothes, we call them lucky. But if you actually track the life cycle of this beetle, it plays out like a biological horror movie. You see, nature doesn't care about cute. Nature is just a fixed budget bureaucracy of life and erasing said life. And the ladybug is a highly specialized chemical weapons lab doing whatever it takes to balance those books. Alright, let's audit the body count now. The nightmare begins on day 1. If a ladybug hatches after the local aphid population has already crashed, it's born directly into a famine. But they have a plan for that scenario. And that solution is cannibalism. Of course. This isn't a tragic accident, it's the primary business model. It's a scientifically observed fact that larvae that eat their own species grow faster and survive longer. From a pure nutrient standpoint, a ladybug egg is a perfectly formatted meal for a ladybug. But they don't just eat blindly, they check ID first. Research shows larvae can chemically discriminate between sibling eggs and a stranger's eggs just by smelling the surface. They run a background check so they can preferentially eat strangers. Sibling eggs are only consumed when a larva is hours away from death. Family loyalty really does exist, right up until the metabolic budget zeroes out. Then it's just calories and every man for himself. So, if a larva eats enough of its neighbors, it'll reach adulthood like the cutie right here and then start hunting aphids. And this is where things get genuinely gross. The ladybug's mouth parts contain roughly 4,000 chemosensory neurons. It isn't smelling dinner, it's really the molecular footprint the aphid left behind seconds ago that it's smelling. When it catches the aphid, it then goes to work. Its jaws move in opposite directions, acting like a microscopic meat grinder. Look at these guys. Share nice. Anyway, while it physically shreds the victim's insides, it also pumps in a cocktail of chemical solvents that melt fat and muscle into liquid. And since it doesn't like doing the dishes, instead of digesting food inside its own body, it uses the aphid shell like a takeout container from a drive-thru run by serial killers. It turns the victim into a meat-flavored Capri Sun, extracts the resulting fluid, and drops the empty wrapper on the leaf. And it will lead about 50 per day. It's highly efficient, assuming you aren't the soup. But being a predator doesn't make you safe. When a bird or a spider attacks our ladybug, it doesn't try to run. It deliberately hemorrhages itself. This fluid releases a foul-smelling chemical broadcast. It's essentially a biological stink bomb telling everything in a 5-foot radius to back off. And, oh yeah, it also plays dead as a defense mechanism. And the blood is also loaded with toxins that the ladybug manufactures in-house. So yeah, it breaks bad and runs its own pharmaceutical lab. Bitten by an ant on one leg? It bleeds from that leg only. Grabbed by a bird? All 6 pop simultaneously. And when the threat leaves, for real, it sucks that toxic sludge back inside to be reused again. Such a good citizen. So, we have a cannibalistic insect that dissolves its prey and bleeds toxic sludge. So naturally, we humans looked at this and thought, let's weaponize it, yeah? And to do that, in the 1980s, we introduced a harlequin ladybug as a biocontrol agent for farms, but seen here increasing the inventory. It worked, but maybe too well. In addition to its original pest control role, it started liquidating the native ladybug population. It outcompetes them physically, but a 2013 paper in Science proved the harlequin is doing something much, much darker. It's carrying biological weapons. The harlequin's blood is packed with dormant parasitic spores and a lethal bacterium. Both are fatal to native ladybugs. The harlequin survives them because it continuously manufactures a bespoke chemical that suppresses the pathogens within itself. So, if a native ladybug makes the mistake of eating the harlequin egg, it swallows those dormant spores, but it doesn't have the chemical shield to suppress them. Therefore, the spores wake up inside the native's gut and kill the host from the inside out. The harlequin essentially weaponized the act of being eaten. Hey, if realizing your favorite garden bug is a biological suicide bomber just ruined your childhood, you owe me a like and subscribe. If you already knew that, well, you should probably be on a watch list. Everything in this story so far is what the ladybug inflicts on others, but there's always a bigger fish watching for an opportunity. Meet the ladybug parasitoid wasp. Rolls right off your tongue, doesn't it? And as its name implies, it's a parasitoid wasp that loves the ladies. Bugs, that is. Actually, they're really beetles. The female wasp catches our ladybug friend and injects an egg into it. The wasp larva develops inside the living host for 20 days. Kind of like your brother-in-law Carl, who said he's only staying on your couch for a night or two. Anyway, it carefully eats only the non-vital fat reserves so the host stays alive and keeps walking around. Then, at maturation, the larva severs the motor nerves in the ladybug's legs, erupts through its abdomen, and spins a cocoon. The ladybug then stands guard over it, twitching to scare off predators just like a zombie. It's not doing this voluntarily. The wasp didn't just inject an egg, it also injected a virus. The virus targets the ladybug's brain and causes severe neural inflammation and involuntary tremors. This is the ultimate example of biological hijacking. The wasp doesn't even bother driving the beetle itself. It just uploads the malware and walks away. The ladybug is essentially a hijacked server mining crypto for a hacker. And it twitches because the virus is pulling the levers. Oh my god, nature's so metal, isn't it? And so here's the truth about this entire life cycle. Every single adaptation is paid for out of a fixed biological budget. Reflex bleeding costs up to 12% of the beetle's fresh body weight per event. Even the larvae do it, but if the larva is forced to bleed too much, its adult body mass is permanently stunted. And if an adult female bleeds too much, she lays fewer eggs. Every calorie spent manufacturing toxic sludge is a calorie stolen from reproduction. You spend your own offspring to fund your defense system. What we're looking at is a cost-benefit analysis. The organism is solving a continuous allocation problem with no good options. Spend energy on toxic sludge or spend it on eggs. Carry lethal pathogens, but risk it turning on you if your immune system drops for even a second. So let's stop calling them lucky. This beetle is a highly constrained machine currently losing its own evolutionary war. Right now, somewhere, a ladybug is standing paralyzed over the parasite that hollowed it out, driven by a virus that it can't fight off. Nature's a nightmare. Sleep tight.